Hey everyone, welcome back to the British Accent Podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm Nick. Good to be back with you, wherever you are, whatever's going on in your life right now.
Yeah, especially today. Because we're diving into something that feels very real. How to stay consistent, even when life gets messy. You know, when everything feels upside down and nothing's going to plan.
Which is, let's be honest, most weeks.
Exactly. It's easy to stick to a plan when everything's perfect. But when your schedule's all over the place, your motivation's in the bin, and your brain feels like a browser with too many tabs open, that's when consistency really gets tested.
Right, like when you've got a work deadline, your room's a disaster, your mate's going through a breakup and you're just trying to revise 3 new English phrases, but your brain says, absolutely not.
Been there. And I think that's why this topic matters, because consistency isn't about perfection. It's not about doing the same thing every day at the exact same time. It's about showing up somehow, even if your life feels like a pile of laundry you haven't folded in a week.
Exactly. Some days, consistency might be a full study session with notes and podcasts and a vocab quiz. Other days, it might just be whispering a few words to yourself while you wait for the kettle to boil.
Or reading the label on your shampoo bottle in English while you're in the shower, because that's all your brain can handle today. And that still counts.
Totally. I think people give up too quickly because they've got this image in their head of what proper learning looks like. You know, quiet room, highlighters, good lighting. But life doesn't always give you that. Sometimes you're learning with crumbs on your shirt and noise in the background.
And that's okay. In fact, I think the most powerful kind of consistency is the kind that survives chaos. The kind where you show up even when things are messy, because that's when it really becomes a habit. Not when it's easy, but when it's hard.
Yes. And the key is flexibility. Like, instead of saying, I'll study every day for 1 hour, say, I'll touch English every day, no matter how small. That gives you space to adapt when life throws a curveball.
I love that, touch English. Even 5 minutes counts. Listen to a voice note. Speak 1 sentence out loud. Write 1 thing in your diary. Progress isn't just made in big leaps. It's made in tiny, invisible moments that pile up when you're not looking.
And let's be real, it's not about never missing a day. You will miss days. Things will happen. What matters is what you do after that. Do you disappear for a week out of guilt? Or do you say, all right, missed yesterday, let's go again today?
That gentle restart mindset is everything. Guilt slows you down. But kindness to yourself, that lets you keep going. It's like saying, yeah, life's messy, but I'm still in the game.
Exactly. And sometimes, staying consistent means changing how you measure success. Maybe today's success isn't doing a full lesson, it's choosing English subtitles instead of your native language. Or saying, thank you, in English when you order something.
Or even just thinking in English. Like, narrating what you're doing in your head. I'm washing the dishes. I'm tired. I want tea. Simple things, but they keep the language alive in your brain.
And they take 0 extra time. You're already thinking anyway, just switch the language.
So true. Because at the end of the day, staying consistent through the chaos doesn't mean forcing structure onto a storm. It means dancing with the storm, while still holding on to the little threads that keep you connected to your goal.
Beautifully put. Keep holding on, even when things feel a bit mad. That's how real progress happens.
And I think one thing people underestimate is the power of low-pressure repetition. Like, if you're having a rough week, instead of learning 10 new phrases, just revisit the same 2 again and again. Let it sink in without stress.
Yeah, repetition is your best friend when life feels too full. You don't always have to expand, sometimes you just maintain. Repeating what you already know keeps your skills warm, even when you can't grow them that day.
And honestly, that kind of maintenance is what keeps the habit alive. If you let go completely, it's so much harder to come back. But if you just do something, even tiny, it's like saying, I'm still here. I haven't quit.
It's like brushing your teeth, right? Even if you've had the worst day ever, you still manage that. It's not dramatic, but it's part of who you are. Your English can become that too, just a quiet part of the day, even when everything else is chaos.
Yes. I love that comparison. Language learning doesn't need to be loud or showy to be effective. Sometimes it's just you, whispering sentences, while you clean up the dishes or scroll through subtitles.
Or taking a walk and noticing street signs, shop names, random bits of English around you. Letting your environment become your teacher when your brain can't handle a textbook.
And something that really helped me was letting go of the idea that I had to feel motivated all the time. Motivation comes and goes. What sticks around is routine. Even if you're tired, or upset, or distracted, your little habit can still happen.
Totally. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for perfect weather in Britain. You'll be waiting a while. But if you have an umbrella and a coat, you can go out in the rain anyway. That's what consistency is. Showing up even when the forecast's a bit rubbish.
Love that. And showing up imperfectly is still showing up. Honestly, I think people who learn through the mess are the strongest learners. Because they've built something that isn't fragile, it can survive real life.
Yeah, when you've practiced on your worst days, nothing can really knock you off later. You've got that resilience built in. You don't crumble the first time life gets busy, because you've trained for that already.
So if you're listening right now thinking, my life's too messy to stay consistent, we just want to say, it's because it's messy that your consistency matters more than ever. You're not doing it wrong. You're doing it the real way.
And let's be honest, nobody's life is neat all the time. People might look organized online, but behind the scenes, everyone's dealing with something. Stress, family, deadlines, burnout. You're not alone in that.
Exactly. What matters is that you're still here, still trying. Even if your notebook's buried under a pile of laundry, or your phone keeps distracting you every 5 minutes, you haven't given up. That's already something to be proud of.
And let's not forget, consistency isn't about doing the same amount every day. It's about doing what you can each day. On a good day, that might be 30 minutes of focused learning. On a tough day, it might be listening to one sentence and repeating it once.
And both of those days matter equally. That's something I had to learn the hard way. Progress isn't a straight line. It's a series of weird loops and pauses and tiny jumps forward. But it still moves. You're still moving.
That's why it's important to notice and celebrate the small wins. Like, hey, I didn't feel like it, but I still opened the app. Or, I understood a phrase in a film without subtitles today. Those are wins. Don't brush them off.
Yeah, give yourself credit for showing up. We tend to wait for big, flashy milestones before we feel proud, but honestly, it's the quiet, gritty days that build the real fluency.
Also, something that's helped me is setting ridiculously easy goals when life feels out of control. Like, just 5 minutes today. Or, just review one word. That way I don't give myself the option to skip, it's too small to fail.
Yes. I call those non-negotiables. Something so simple it feels almost silly, but powerful because you actually do it. Like reviewing flashcards while brushing your teeth. It's not glamorous, but it's real.
And the thing is, those tiny actions don't just keep your English going, they rebuild your trust in yourself. Every time you show up, even just a bit, you prove to yourself, I'm still in this. I can do hard things. Even now.
That's the best part. When life's messy and uncertain, your consistency can become this quiet anchor. Something steady in the storm. You might not have control over everything, but you do have control over whether you say one sentence today.
And that kind of stability builds over time. It becomes your foundation. Even when everything else changes, your connection to English doesn't disappear. It's there. Quiet, steady, waiting for you.
So whether your room's tidy or upside down, whether your head feels clear or cluttered, the question is never, can I do everything? It's just, can I do one thing? And if the answer is yes, you're being consistent. That's enough.
And I think the sooner we let go of that all-or-nothing mindset, the freer we feel. Like, learning a language isn't about getting it perfect every day, it's about keeping the thread alive. You miss a day, you come back. You feel overwhelmed, you do less. But you keep going.
That's it. It's not about building a perfect track record, it's about building a relationship. And just like with people, relationships with language grow through good days and bad days. Sometimes you're all in, sometimes you're distant. But you stay connected.
Exactly. And I think that kind of consistency is way more powerful than people realize. When you learn to show up without pressure, without punishment, it becomes natural. You're not forcing it, you're living with it.
And it gets lighter with time. At first, it feels like effort, finding time, remembering, pushing yourself. But the more you do it, even in messy moments, the more it becomes part of who you are. Not a task. A habit. A rhythm.
And honestly, when you finally hit those moments where things calm down, when life gives you more space again, you'll find that you're already prepared. Because you never fully stopped. You stayed close. That's the beauty of small consistency.
It's like planting seeds, even when the weather's bad. You might not see the growth right away. But when the sun comes out again, those seeds are already in the soil. Ready to bloom because you didn't give up.
So no matter how tangled your week feels, no matter how tired you are, don't underestimate the power of one sentence, 1 minute, one tiny act of staying in touch with your goal. It all adds up.
It really does. Even listening to this podcast right now, while you're cleaning or walking, or just lying down and trying to catch your breath, that counts. That's part of it. You're still learning. You're still showing up.
And that's something to be proud of. Not later, right now.
So, wherever you are right now, whether your life feels totally chaotic, or just a bit wobbly, we want you to remember this. Consistency isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. And every time you choose to stay connected, no matter how small the effort, you're doing something powerful.
Exactly. Progress doesn't have to be loud. It can be quiet, calm, and a little messy. What matters is that it's yours. And you're still moving. So keep going, we're cheering you on.
Thanks so much for joining us today on the British Accent Podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm Nick. Take care of yourself, and we'll speak to you again soon.